Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Guanqin GJ16155, homage to the Longines Hydro Conquest. This is my 100th video. I started this channel way back in February 16th of this year. I was hoping this would be my 500th subscriber also, but at the time of this filming I'm only at 434. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing my Fossil LE1100 titanium GMT watch. This is the very first watch I've ever reviewed on my channel. And Greg was wearing my Sterling Aqua Timer. This is the most popular watch I've ever reviewed on my channel. I'm almost at 4,000 views of this watch. Grogu asked Princess Leia why she wasn't queen since the rest of the Alderaan royal family was blown up by the Death Star. She said that just last week the Alderaan survivors did make her queen, but then someone pointed out that she wasn't qualified because she was adopted. Grogu said that's too bad, and Leia said better to be queen for a day than a schmuck for a lifetime. Here's the watch. When I was looking for my Swiss-made watch to celebrate my 25th work anniversary, the Longines Hydro Conquest was on the list of potential watches. It was by far the most affordable of the bunch, and we have an authorized dealer in town, and I was able to try it on and drool over it. As you know, I finally decided on the Tag Heuer, but I still wouldn't mind picking up a Longines in the future. So when I saw this homage on AliExpress, I just knew I wanted to review it. As I explained during my unboxing video, this is the result of my second attempt at ordering this watch. I ordered one way back in August only to have a message weeks later from AliExpress store that my order was canceled. Since I already had quite a few watches on my plate, I went ahead and waited a bit before ordering again. I had never heard of Guanqin before, but there are several other Guanqins on AliExpress. Guanqin claims that they've been around since 1989, which is a little bit more believable than the 1883 claim of some of their Chinese counterparts. As I mentioned during my unboxing, that the box was very similar to a Pagani design, and it even came with an extra bond NATO with Pagani design branding. I bought the blue colorway, which was the only one that wasn't only offered as a two-tone. Both the black and the green only came as two tones. The watch is 40 millimeters at the bezel, 47.7 millimeters lug to lug with inverted end links, 12.8 millimeters high, has a 20 millimeter lug width, and weighs 152 grams with two links removed. The fully aluminum ceramic bezel is a 90-click unidirectional with a coin edge. 90-click is fairly common among Pagani design, which is more evidence of a Guanqin Pagani design connection. At 40 millimeters, it is a hair smaller than the Longines, which is a 41 millimeter. Longines also makes a 43, and I wish they had a 43 version on this watch, as 40 millimeters is a little small for me. The engraved lettering has a similar font than the Longines, but isn't quite as bold. Despite the 90 clicks, the bezel action is excellent with loud, solid clicks and absolutely no backplay. See, sounds really good. And there is no backplay. The blue dial has a nice sunburst effect. There are lume dots for indices with large numbers at the 12, 6, and 9. There's a bordered date at the 3. The Guanqin brand is printed on, but the Guanqin logo is applied. And it looks a lot like the Longines logo. On the bottom it says automatic, and then gives the 100 meters water resistance. Thankfully it doesn't say water resistant, which is redundant. It says Japanese movement on the bottom, and this has an NH35. The hands are pencil hands, loomed with a rather thin strip of lume on the minute and a small diamond shape on the hour hand. The signed screw-down crown is signed with the letter G and not the Guanqin logo. It pops nicely when unscrewed, but can be quite difficult to screw back down. Sometimes it's really hard to get the threads to start. So, plus these crown guards make it hard to get a good grip. So I'm not too happy with the thread action. The substantial crown guards make it difficult to get a good grip on the crown. It does have that little point edge in the little end here like the Longines has. The crystal is the flat sapphire, and I confirmed that with my diamond tester. Unfortunately, there seems to be no AR undercoat, making it a little bit difficult to see through at times. When you see it face on, it really reflects the light, and it can kind of be hard to see through directly. You kind of have to look through it at an angle. The case is solid stainless steel that is polished everywhere except for the top of the lugs. The case back is a screw down with the Guanqin logo and branding, and it gives the 100 meters of water resistance. There is no mention of the movement on the watch, so I wondered if Guanqin could pull a fast one and swap an NH35 with a Miyota, since that has happened to me before with the Pagani design due to the NH35 shortage. So I opened the case back to be sure, and I confirmed that there wasn't any monkey business and the watch had the advertised NH35. The NH35, which is the standard workhorse movement for watches in this price range, a 3 Hz movement that hand winds and hacks with a bidirectional rotor. No need to time graph, as they are usually reasonably accurate considering their price point. The bracelet has solid inverted end links. The links are single link, meant to look like a 3-link. The bracelet is nicely brushed with no polished center links. I really like the looks of the bracelet. It has push pins for adjustment, and I had to remove 2 links to fit on my 7.5-inch wrist. The sign clasp looks really nice and it's fully milled, but unfortunately the clasp is the watch's biggest downfall and mars what would otherwise be a fantastic bracelet. For some odd reason, they decided to add a diver's extension to this desk driver. And it takes up all the room of the clasp though, so there are no micro adjusts. The extension is quite large, adding an entire inch to the bracelet, and care must be taken when folding it back in. You can't just push it in like this. You have to make sure you fold it in like this so it will go over the little nip here. Care must be taken when folding it back in or it will not shut correctly. Shutting the clasp is not still one with the confidence, as it takes a lot of pressure for it to click. And you often feel yourself tugging on it to ensure it is indeed closed, and as you can see, it wasn't. If you don't like the clasp, you are stuck with it due to the integrated design. As you can see, it's all integrated into the bracelet, so you can't just order another clasp from AliExpress and expect for it to fit. I'm sure if you got creative, there's some kind of clasp you could change it with, but it's beyond my skill to do so. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. Looks nice. Little small for me. I prefer a 42, 43. And it's just a hair loose. I just wish I could tighten it just a little bit. Right now my wrist is kind of swollen, so it's not too bad right now, but sometimes when my wrist is feeling really thin, I wish I could tighten it just a little bit. So the lack of micro adjust is really annoying. Here's the watch on the supplied Noto strap. I think that looks really nice. And here's the watch on a vintage leather strap. I think it looks really good on vintage leather. I always like a blue dive watch on vintage leather. Here we are in the Lume room. facing off with my Pagani Design No Time to Die, which has become my standard power watch. I did not see the need to bring out any of my heavy hitters like the Heimdallr or my Seiko 5. As you can see when we speed up the clock, that despite the awesome bezel lume, it is the hands that matter, and the minute hand is falling behind the Pagani Design, even though the hour hand is keeping up. But just look at that lume pip. It is by far the brightest thing on the screen, but because of the minute hand, I have to rate the lume as subpar. What do I like about this watch? It's one of the few watches to homage the Hydro Conquest and does a good job of following the design. I like the nice blue color. It's a real deep blue without being too navy and looking black in low light. Has great bezel action, and I like the fully lume bezel. And I really like this brush bracelet. The brushwork is really good. What are my gripes and groans? No AR coating on the sapphire crystal, makes it hard to see through. Crown is really hard to use and has poor thread action. No micro adjust would probably be my biggest complaint. And you can't change the clasp if you don't like that. The minute hand lume is substandard despite the great bezel lume. And I wish they made a 43mm version. And all the other colorways are two-tone. There are no solid steel colorways of green or black. Do I recommend this watch? Well, it depends on your goal. If your goal is to get a nice looking watch that resembles a Longines Hydro Conquest, then by all means get this watch. It will suit your needs just fine. But if you're looking for a good dive style watch for under $100 that is not yet another Submariner knockoff, I think you can do better elsewhere. So it all depends, once again, do you want something that looks like a Hydro Conquest or not? Well, thank you for watching my review of this Guanqin, and be sure and like and subscribe to my channel, and I will be back with another review. Bye.